Hey everyone, Koen and Bas here with our podcast about the practical use of AI for your business. And today we're doing something different. We're diving into the future of a report that was just published, the Future of Jobs Report 2025. And we'll look at what it means for companies navigating the AI revolution. And here at 7Lab, we're seeing these changes firsthand when implementing all kinds of different projects. And we help organizations adapt to this new reality. But it's interesting to get a new perspective from this report. And we'll break down three essential takeaways. So, first, we'll look into how generative AI is already transforming work or will transform work, not by replacing humans, but enhancing what we can do. And secondly, we'll explore the critical skills that are needed in this new transition and how to bridge those. And finally, we'll look into how the workforce will need to be configured to evolve and keep up with the pace of all these changes. And yeah, we'll share a couple of insights, practical insights from our personal experience helping companies implement AI solutions. So first, Koen, maybe you want to elaborate a bit on the report that was just released. Who released it? Yeah, uh, we've both went we both went through it. It's quite an extensive report, but
Yeah,
maybe
it's
some context.
290 pages. It's quite a report, but it's a report launched by the World Economic Forum, which is a forum. It's a combination of a lot of economic experts and also political experts who join forces each year in Switzerland, in Davos, I think, to discuss all kinds of topics. And they initiated this Future of Job reports. I think it's something they do every year. And in this report, they take a look 5 years into the future to see how work is going to look like in 2030. So they asked 1,000 companies all over the world, I think from 55 countries, for data, for input for this report. So they asked all these companies data about how they see the workforce is going to change the next 5 years. And based on those data they received, they draw up this report with some interesting findings. So I think one of the most shocking findings is that 1/3 of the current jobs right now they expect is going to be replaced or automated by robotics and AI, which is insane.
Insane when you think about it, right?
Yeah, 1/3 of the jobs, current jobs.
Yeah. Maybe we can get to the first point on the agenda, which is actually how we should perceive this AI revolution. Like, is it a total automation of the entire process, or like it's just you release AI and all humans are replaced? Or yeah, I think in the report they also describe a little bit of how this transition is going to work, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, because they think that 1/3 of the jobs is going to be automated by robotics and AI. And I think those are the jobs with repetitive tasks, like working in a call center, for example. So picking up the phone, answering questions based on protocols written somewhere in a system. These kinds of jobs are at risk for automation by AI. But there's also in the report a part where they describe the augmentation of the workforce. So it's not replacing the workforce, but giving this workforce an augmentation of robotics and AI to improve their work,
yeah,
which can be a machine that is an AI powered machine which is operated or supervised by someone. Augmentation that, as an accountant, for example, you don't have to do the queries in the data yourself, but the AI comes with results and then you can discuss it with the AI to draw up your accountancy report, for example.
you handle the social aspect as an accountant, and the AI prepares all the data and facts you probably need during your discussion.
Yeah.
And I think that's also one of the things the report is describing, right? That they do recommend an approach where you're aiming for human augmentation. So to maybe triple or maybe even tenfold their productivity, but go hand in hand with AI instead of a total replacement, or at least that they predict that will happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah, yeah, but I also read something that they don't predict that the productivity is going to increase that much in the
Hmm.
next 5 years.
Yeah,
Because
because of the adoption then.
it's a total shift of skills and of the workforce, which needs to happen in quite a short amount of time. So I think the actual productivity wins will be for some companies already, because they already start working with Gen AI, like our customers, for example. But for the bigger crowd, the productivity increase is probably something for later on.
Yeah, for them personally, you mean, or on a company level?
I think on a
Because I
company level,
okay.
yeah.
And why would that be? Like if you let the AI does just as slow,
Sorry,
or
the AI is.
why wouldn't like the productivity or the time to finish a task be quicker? Because that's what we call productivity, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
but
do you know
yeah.
how they mean this?
Well, it's more. It's maybe not even on a company scale, but more on an economy scale, because they um, they wrote down that there are going to be 92 million jobs are going to be lost because of automation, but 170 million jobs are created, which are
Right.
new jobs with new skills. So the people need to be trained or reschooled. So that there's so much change going on that the actual productivity wins might come at a cost for changing all these roles and peoples to this new way of working on an
And then
economy
after
scale.
those 5 years of transition, I guess the end game is that it will eventually
Yeah, yeah, and
contribute, yeah?
some companies will reach it earlier, but I think on an economic scale, it's going to be a slow change.
Just 5 years, right?
Yeah, yeah, 5 years is really quick, of course. So yeah, yeah, but it's insane.
Yeah, then maybe we should quickly talk about the areas that can be most affected. So you mentioned customer service as a use case. Maybe we could mention a couple other use cases we're seeing in our business that we can already automate, and maybe we should look towards a little bit towards the future, like what kind of other tasks, because we are used to automating routine tasks with just software, right? That are more kind of automations. But I think once the AI models get smarter and smarter, and we're seeing that right now, there are probably also other types of tasks that can be done by AI as well, or assisted with by AI.
Yeah, I think what you said, it's about right now it's routine tasks and simple human interactions. So, for example, when you visit a company and you need to register at the desk where you're from and who you're visiting, stuff like that can be automated already. And for example, cashiers in the supermarket where you buy your groceries, stuff like that.
And how about decision making? I think that's one of the new things here in Gen AI, right? Where you have the opportunity to have another entity make a sort of a pre-decision for you,
Yeah,
and then you only review it. I think there's also a lot of productivity gain there, right?
yeah,
Because the AI can look up all the information, prepare a decision for you, and provide you with the arguments. And then you can either say, okay, I agree or I don't agree. But that's a decision was basically a lot of work up front, 90% work up front, and then you make a decision based on all those facts. But if the 90% is done by AI, I guess there's also a lot of productivity gain there, right? Or
yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that's the augmentation section of the story. So you have an augmented AI that helps you making informed decisions. But I'm really curious because technically it's possible, but I'm not sure if people are ready for such a way of living and working.
Yeah, it will be a matter of trust, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, if the AI makes one mistake, then the trust goes down, and you don't have the social connection you have with humans. You
no,
give. I've had some colleagues that you give more than one chance, and that's because they're also human. So we might be less likely to do so with AI as well. So that will hinder adoption a little bit. So
but
quite
also I
interesting.
think it's sometimes hard to see whether the AI made a wrong recommendation for your decision, for example.
Sure. Yeah. And we touched on that a little bit last time, right?
Yeah.
I think in our last video. So yeah, if people want to know what that's all about, yeah, go and check it out on our YouTube channel. But maybe talking about, we talked briefly about the kinds of tasks that will be replaced, but maybe it's also interesting to look at some of the skills that will be needed in the future to grow into this trend and into this whole paradigm of working with AI. Do you have an idea on the skills that are needed in the future?
Well, I think the biggest skill or personality trait you need to have is to be agile, to be willing to adjust to changes. Because 5 years from now, the workforce is going to look quite different. And to do so, a lot of people need to change the way they work. They need to change the skills they have. So they need to be willing to change and able to change. So I think that's for me, the most important. Well, it's maybe I'm not sure if it's a skill, but
Yeah, I was thinking more of maybe people should learn prompt engineering or
yeah, yeah.
how AI models work, know a little bit more about data and what the value of data is. I think those will be useful skills, for example. But knowing how to ask something from an AI model will probably become one of the most important skills, right? And that requires, of course, some analytical thinking, creativity, and of course the willingness to learn it because it's new for everyone in the business. Well, we've been doing it for 2 years with full dedication. Before that was a lot of software development, and
Yeah,
but yeah, I think a lot of people don't even know how to ask the right questions to an AI.
yeah,
That's what you sometimes what is called prompt engineering these days.
yeah, and that's something you can start already, right? Just download an app like ChatGPT or Claude, um, and just start asking questions to the AI model to see how it responds, to learn what to add to your question to get better answers, for example.
Yeah. So ask a structured question, a creative question, and a little bit of flexibility in how you deploy your existing skills. So weave them in with AI. So yeah, what should companies do to develop these skills? What is important, do you think? Can we provide a couple steps to companies to get started with this transition? What's the best approach we see in practice?
I think one of the first steps companies need to do is to make sure that the workforce has some sort of foundational knowledge of Gen AI, generative AI, to understand on a low level how it works and what the capabilities are. Like you said, prompt engineering, for example. And I think that's the first step to make sure that everyone has a basic understanding of Gen AI. And I think, like I said, with learning how to prompt, the best way to learn is by just starting somewhere. So I would say make sure that the company has a basic understanding of Gen AI and then start with a simple task in the organization which can be automated with AI as a first step. So a small project first, maybe short sprint to see how it works, to make sure it's starting to live within the company, and then based on that make a roadmap for implementing it further.
And you're calling it an automation, but maybe after this report we should call it augmentations.
Augmentation, yeah, yeah, yeah. Good point. Good point. I think because right now we're doing quite some automations, and it's probably going to shift a bit more to augmentations. Yeah, to a certain
I
point
think
where
first there are a lot of more automations we can do, and then it will indeed transition towards more augmentation for the human jobs that are left, right?
yeah,
And those are the jobs that require a lot of creativity, human interaction, social skills. I think those will be the augmented jobs.
yeah,
But the people doing purely analytical work like software development,
yeah, yeah,
so not the talk with the customer, what the customer wants and how he wants it, but more kind of the programming side will, that's a good example of something that will be automated quite quickly, I think.
yeah, yeah. And I think for the augmentation part, It's also about the integration with normal day life. So when we automate certain tasks, it's a really specific process at a location or between two systems. And with augmentation, it's more a integration in, I don't know, in a wearable or something that helps you to augment normal day life things you're doing.
Yeah.
Because those are the situations where you have social interaction or use your creativity in meetings, for example, or for when you're going out. I don't know.
Yeah. And now we know a little bit about what skills are needed in the future and yeah, what you should build, what kind of teams you should build. Yeah, are there any strategies or recommendations we can make to help companies and leaders stimulate that human machine collaboration? What kind of people do we need? So we talked about the skills we need, but also like, yeah, what kind of people? Do you have an idea about that?
You mean that work in a company to make sure you follow the Gen AI
Yeah, so you
revolution?
have people that want to be augmented, right? Because
Yeah,
they're probably the old guard of or someone that has been really stuck to doing one specific task in a company is not the kind of people we need to move this forward.
yeah.
They will definitely get in touch with AI, but yeah, and of course we are not an HR company. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the people we are looking out for in this whole transition. Do you have an idea about that?
Well, as Seven Lab right now, we're still looking for more technical oriented people, not necessarily for the development skills, but for the skills of understanding how these technologies work. But I think more in general, yeah, I think it's important to tell the augmentation approach to AI and not the automation approach, because a lot of people see AI as a threat to their job. I think especially maybe the more older workforce.
Yeah, I think in the end you need just really curious people. So people
Yeah,
that know, of course, have the technical skills to know what you can do with AI or how data is exposed to AI and then be a little bit creative about the use cases you can get out of that combination, right? To help you in your daily job and keep experimenting with what more can be done. Because if we have an infinitely smart AI, the people that will profit most is the people that discover new use cases, I think, to get ahead of other organizations, right?
yeah, yeah. But you could also make a point for because discovering new implement or discovering new opportunities of AI is nice, but you also need to implement it, monitor it. Because if you look at the last couple of years, a lot of prototypes were developed all over the world using AI. All cool, all kinds of cool implementations, but actual production wise applications, that's another step, and that's another skill set you need then, right? That's not curiosity, but maybe more.
Yeah, but if it's your personal augmentation, we are not probably not working with applications anymore in 5 to 10 years. So at least the timelines we're talking about in the report, right? In 5 years, will we still have like standardized processes as we know it? Or do humans just have a responsibility in the process and are augmented by their AI? So if you and if you have your own AI, the only way to exceed the norm is to be creative or curious about what more can you do, right? Because otherwise you perform just the same as your peers.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the human thing you can do.
yeah. But then it's about the difference between a artificial intelligence and human intelligence in terms of creativity, social interaction, stuff like that.
Yeah, we have to do our most human things
Yeah,
to excel.
yeah, yeah.
So you just need really good humans. So that's I think that's one of the
That's the key
conclusions.
takeaway.
The key takeaway.
Be as human as possible.
Yeah, hire good humans.
Oh, that's always a good case, right?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think for now, yeah, we did a real quick summary of what's in the report. I think we can link it in our YouTube video as well for people to read. It's quite a tough read, I would say, but quite interesting where we're heading. And especially if you're a strategic leader somewhere, it could be really beneficial to have a peek in this whole future. But yeah, for now, I think we can just end this week's podcast here because we've given this sneak peek. And then next week, we'll talk about something else again. But for now, I think we've done our best, and we ended nicely with hire the most human humans possible. Right?
Yeah, and be as human as possible for yourself.
Yeah, I think we are going to keep that in there also at Cyberlab, right?
It's a nice one. It's a nice one.
But how do you test if someone is as humanly possible as you want, right?
Well, you can test creativity, social interaction. You can measure those things, right?
Beer drinking skills.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to our channel. That really helps and helps keeps us motivated. And see you next time.
Yeah. See you next time.
Bye.